Hi, I'm Maestro ER. Ang mga videos na aking ginagawa ay para sa aking adhikain na makatulong sa mga modular learners ng Mathematics 10 and of course para na rin sa asynchronous online learning. Sadya kong ginawa ito na may halong wikang Pilipino para mas lalong maintindihan ng nakararaming Filipino distant learners. Sa video na ito ay ating pag-uusapan ang tungkol sa Factor Theorem. So, ano yung Factor Theorem? So, according on the definition, if polynomial p of x is divided by binomial x minus r, the remainder is equal to 0, then x minus r is a factor of polynomial p of x. Okay, so paano natin maintindihan yung Factor Theorem? So, mayroon tayong link na ibigay sa taas. Yan. So, pwede nating i-review doon yung remainder theorem. So, para maintindihan natin itong nasabing theorem, Factor Theorem, so let's take an example. So, determine the remainder if p of x is equal to 2x cubed minus 19x squared plus 41x minus 42 is divided by x minus 7. So our divisor now is x minus 7. So that is our x minus r. Okay. And the value now of x is equal to 7, or the value of r is equal to 7. So we have two ways on finding the remainder. So yan ay naipaliwanag natin sa ating previous videos, yung nasa taas na link regarding remainder theorem. So we have two ways, by substitution and by synthetic division. So by substitution, so we have that given 2x cubed minus 19x squared plus 41x minus 42. If x equals to 7, so it equals now to the product of 2 times 7 cubed plus the product of negative 19 times 7 squared plus the product 41 times 7 plus negative 42. So p of 7 now is equals to 2 times 343. So 343 is from 7 cubed plus negative 19 times 49. So 49 is from 7 squared plus the product of 41 times 7 is 287 plus negative 42. So after simplifying, so p of 7 now is equals to 686. That is a product of 2 times 343 minus 931, the product of 19 times 49 plus 245, the sum of 287 minus 42. Okay, so p of 7 now is equals to negative 45. That is the sum of 686 plus negative 931 plus copy 245. And so therefore, p of 7 is equals to 0. So according to the remainder theorem, that 0 is also the remainder of dividing 2x cubed minus 19x squared plus 41x minus 42 by x minus 7. Okay, so let's proceed to synthetic division. So our r now is 7 and our numerical coefficients are 2, negative 19, 41, and negative 42. So the given p of x is already arranged into descending order of power. Okay, so bring down the leading coefficient 2 and multiply by 7 is 14. Added by negative 19, so equals to negative 5. So repeat the process. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35 added by 41 equals to 6. So 7 times 6 is positive 42. So the remainder is 0. Okay. So since the remainder now is 0, so that divisor x minus 7 is a factor of the given p of x equals to 2x cubed minus 19x squared plus 41x minus 42. So, ganun lang kasimple. Pag-determine kung ang given x minus r is a factor of the given polynomial. So, if the remainder is 0, so that is a factor. So, ganun lang, no? If the remainder is not equal to 0, then it is not a factor. Okay. So, let's take another example. So, which of the following binomial is a factor of p of x equals to 3x to the 4th power minus x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 2? So, saan ba dito sa dalawa? Is A, x minus 2 a factor? Or B, x minus 1 a factor? So, to prove that, so, we solve by using synthetic division. Okay, so in letter A, the value of r now is 2, and in letter B, the value of r is 1. So let us solve first letter A to determine whether it is a factor or not. Okay, so we have to write r to the upper left, then the numerical coefficient r3, negative 1, negative 1, 1, and negative 2. So it is already arranged into descending order of power. So we bring down 3, the leading coefficient, multiplied by 2 is 6, added by negative 1 is 5, then 2 times 5 is 10, added by negative 1 is 9, 2 times 9 is 18, added by 1 is 19, then 2 times 19 is 38. So the remainder is positive 36. So since the remainder is positive 36 and not equal to 0, therefore, that x minus 2 is not a factor of the given polynomial p of x equals to 3x to the 4th power minus x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 2. Okay, so let's try letter B. Okay, so our r now is 1. So copy all the numerical coefficients. Then we bring down the leading coefficient and we multiply by 1. So 3 added by negative 1 is positive 2. Again, multiply by 1 is 2 added by negative 1 is 1. Multiply by 1 is 1. Then 1 plus 1 is 2. Then 1 times 2 is positive 2. The remainder is 0. So therefore, the remainder is 0. X minus 1 now is a factor of the given p of x equals to 3x to the 4th power minus x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 2. So the correct answer there is letter B, x minus 1. How about if we are going to find the complete factor of the polynomial p of x? So how to determine the complete factor of the given polynomial? Okay, so example, factor p of x equals to x cubed plus 3x squared minus 10x minus 24 completely. So one method of finding the complete factor is by trial and error. So we have step 1. Determine the possible factors of the product of the leading coefficient and the constant term of p of x. So in this step, we are finding the possible factor or the possible r of that given p of x to get the remainder equals to 0. So, by trial and error. So, we multiply 1 times negative 24. So, we have that product is negative 24. So, what are the factor of negative 24? So, of course, plus or minus 24 times 1, plus or minus, yan, 6 times 4, 3 times 8, or equals to 2 times 12. But don't forget that is plus or minus of the possible factors. So, the possible factors now, or the possible r that are a factor of that given polynomials are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. So, we will try any of these possible factor by trial and error, which of these has a remainder of 0. Okay, so we have step 2. So, by trial and error method, test all the possible factors using synthetic division if the remainder is 0. Okay. So, ano yung una natin i-try? So, let's try negative 1. Okay, so that is the solution using synthetic division. So, the remainder is negative 12. So, therefore, it is not a factor. Okay. So, x plus 1 is not a factor. So, let's try negative 2. Ayan. So, after trying negative 2, so, it is now, the remainder is 0. So, therefore, it is a factor. So, we can that negative 2, if r is negative 2, and the remainder is 0, we can write now that x plus 2 is the first factor. And the remaining p of x now is x squared plus x minus 12. So, saan ang galing dyan? Yan, negative 12. Okay, so why x plus 2? Because your r is negative 2. So, if r is negative 2, in the given definition that x minus r, so r is negative 2, so x minus negative 2 is x plus 2. Or just simply change the sign. Okay, x plus 2. So, let's try now positive 3. So, your r is 3. And then, our numerical coefficient now is from this remaining factor. So, we have 1, 1, and negative 12. Galing yan dito. Okay. So, since the remainder is also 0, and so therefore, it is a factor. And the first factor now is x plus 2. And the second factor is x minus 3. And the remaining is x plus 4 is not yet factorable. Galing yan dyan. So, it is now the complete factor of p of x equals to x cubed plus 3x squared minus x minus 24. Okay. So, let's take another example. So, given p of x equals to x to the 4 plus 7x cubed plus 9x squared minus 7x minus 10. So, if we're going to multiply the leading coefficient, which is 1, times negative 10, so the product is negative 10. So, in what are the possible factor of negative 10? So, it is negative 10 itself and positive 10, or 1 is also a factor, and negative 1, 2, and negative 2, we have 5 and negative 5. So, yun lang i-try natin. 1, 2, 5, and 10. Okay, so let's try now 1. Okay, so we copy all the numerical coefficient. So, we have 1, 7, 9, negative 7, and negative 10. And our r is 1. So, the remainder is 0. So, therefore, it is a factor. And the first factor now is x minus 1. Okay, if you notice, we change the sign from positive 1 become negative 1 as the binomial x minus r. So, the remaining factor now is x cubed plus 8x squared plus 17x plus 10. Dito yan galing sa quotient ng first synthetic division natin. Okay? Yan. So, the first factor. So, let's try now negative 2. Okay, so our numerical coefficient now is from this remaining factor or from the quotient of the previous synthetic divisions. You have 1, 8, 17, and 10. No need to go back to the original given p of x. So our r now is negative 2. So we bring down 1. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 added by 8 is 6. So negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Added by 17 is 5. And negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. So the remainder is 0. So it is a factor. And so therefore, our first factor is x minus 1. Don't forget to write the first factor. And the second factor is x plus 2. And the remaining polynomial now is x squared plus 6x plus 5. And it is still factorable. So we'll find now the factor of this x squared plus 6x plus 5. So in this remaining polynomial, so we are going to find now the possible factor of 1 times 5. And the possible factor of 1 times 5, which is 5, is only 1 and 5, positive or negative. Okay. So let's try now positive 5. Okay, so copy the numerical coefficient, the remaining factors. So we have 1, 6, 5, and our r is 5. So bring down 1, 5 times 1 is 5, 6 plus 5 is 11, 5 times 11 is 55. The remainder is 60 and not equal to 0. And so therefore, it is not a factor. So let's try again another. So let's try negative 5. Okay. So we have this one now. So 1, 6, 5 as our numerical coefficient and negative 5 as r. So bring down 1, negative 5 times 1 is negative 6, added by negative 5 rather. Added by 6 is positive 1. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. So the remainder is 0. So therefore, it is a factor. So our first factor is x minus 1. We just copy. Second factor is x plus 2. And therefore, the third factor is x plus 5. And the remaining is x plus 1 from the quotient of the last synthetic division. So this is now the complete factor of p of x equals to x to the 4 plus 7x cubed plus 9x minus 7x minus 10. So that's how to find the complete factor of the polynomial p of x. Hanggang dito na lamang po. Sana naman may natutunan kayo sa ating munting pag-aaral tungkol sa topic na ito. Hanggang sa muli!